Well, of course, the Legault government is not very proactive and is at fault here. But then it's ironic, it's a level of hypocrisy that is really impressive, that the federal government that has created the crisis of housing comes as a savior, trying to justify its existence by creating programs within the competence of provinces on a topic where they created the problem from A to Z.
It's a severe accusation. How can you say that?
They have imposed to Quebec an immigration, a temporary immigration and a permanent immigration through their powers at the borders, at the airport, and through a pressure, a constant pressure on Canada as a whole, because they are aligned with the Century Initiative. They have created a very big disbalance between offer and demand on the housing market that translated into unaffordable prices and unaffordable rents, and a rise of the homelessness throughout Canada, including Quebec. And that was never negotiated with Quebec. That was never, they did it unilaterally, in which case you need to be in a mode of denial and hypocrisy to then show up in the competence of Quebec and say, I'll be the savior of the situation of all these people who can't find a house, who can't afford housing.
Measures are targeted for younger people, but don't you think that a renter's bill of rights, it's a good thing? Because we don't have a registry here in Quebec.
And I think Quebec should have such a registry, but we cannot be defending ourselves against Ottawa cheating its own constitution on a daily basis. That's the issue at stake here. It's on every single topic. There's no respect for the fundamental rules that founded that country. It's just cheating all the time. So it creates a posture where the CAQ is on a defensive mode all the time, loses ground all the time, and obviously, even if Justin Trudeau is really weak, he doesn't care about the 89 MNAs of the CAQ. There is no bargaining power whatsoever. And it creates this situation of lack of respect of what the rules should be. That is, that this is a Quebec competence.
Do you think, do you agree with what Legault Dubois thinks, that tenants kind of lose out as Ottawa and Quebec fight over jurisdiction? And as you said yourself, such a registry might be a good idea, but as the two governments fight, tenants don't get to move ahead.
I'm very critical of the moral signaling of politicians who actually created this current housing crisis by telling everyone for years that we should have more and more and more temporary and permanent immigration. I'm critical of that moral signaling now of saying we are the solution to the housing crisis with a registry, and we're willing to deal with Ottawa even though it's cheating the Constitution. All this is wrong. First thing we ought to do right now is to rebalance the offer and demand and to help elderly people and people being evicted with better rights than what Duranceau has just gave them in the bill. I really tried to negotiate something before Christmas, but I didn't settle for the deposit of a law for marketing purposes. I really tried to get the end of the modification on the cession de bail, and I didn't get it because they don't give a beep.